Great. Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Gediminas and welcome to our weekly training call. So this call happens same place, same time, same link every single week, and we talk about different things to do with our business, how we can earn more, build a better business, build a bigger business, etc. And for the last 5 or 6 weeks, we've been talking about systems because me and one of our leaders, Irina, we went to USA. We attended a training in Las Vegas, Nevada called Beyond Leadership by a man called Eric Worre. And we picked up a lot of great information, especially about the systems, because that training was particularly designed for 6- and 7-figure earners in network marketing. The ticket for that training was like $5,000 a person. And it was all about, building strong systems that would last a long time in your business. Because again, if you build your business on systems, systems are duplicatable. Everybody can follow a system, but not everybody can have the same charisma, the same excitement, the same personality. Personality is not duplicatable. So that's why, we really talk a lot about systems. And this week, I wanted to cover the recognition system. So why recognition is important, and how should you do it, and how can you do it, and what should be a system, right? Because again, you might be thinking, well, can you actually have a system for recognition? Absolutely, and I think I know a thing or two about recognition. I hope, I'm doing it pretty well, with our team. So I wanted to share a few things. But before we even get to recognition, and how to do it, etc., let's talk about why do recognition. Now, one thing I can tell you, you cannot do too much recognition. There can never be too much recognition for your team, because reality is that most people don't get recognition. They don't get recognition in their jobs. They don't get recognition in their family, etc. Most people just doing the work, and nobody's ever coming to them and saying, hey, well done, hey, you're doing a great job, etc. For most people, the only time when they do get attention from the boss is when they've done something wrong, and the boss goes, hey, we need to talk, that, it's bad news, because they wouldn't just call you to say, hey, you're doing a fantastic job, well done, right? Usually it's bad news. So for most people, they crave for that recognition, they crave for that attention, but they don't get it. At work, at home, they do all the work, etc. And again, most of the time, nobody appreciates them. Nobody says thank you. Nobody says well done, etc. So when somebody is joining your team and they start receiving that recognition and attention and appreciation, you cannot imagine how important that can be to that person. It just can take, there's a saying that, recognition, babies cry for it and grown men die for it, meaning like going to war, etc., for the recognition, So you will be surprised, but some people in your team might actually do more for recognition than they would do for money. Like for some people, the money that they get as part of the business is not as important as being recognized for the work they've done, as being recognized for the leader they have become, as being put on the stage in front of other people, being put on a spotlight and being showed off to other people that, hey, look, that lady is an example to everybody. You know what I mean? So recognition is just such a great thing and such a big deal. And I absolutely love doing recognition, giving recognition to people, because I can see how amazing it makes them feel. And if you think about it, everything we do is to feel good. Like if I sat with each and every one of you individually and I asked for your goals, I'm sure your goals would be different. Some of you want to take kids to Disneyland. Some of you want to buy that dream house. Some of you want to make a certain amount every month in your bank account, etc. But if I asked you, well, why do you want to make that money? When you make that money, what's going to happen? When you take your kids to Disneyland, what's going to happen? When you're driving that car, what's going to happen? Eventually, I'm going to dig deeper until I get to the point where you're going to say, it's going to make me feel good. That's it. Like if you think about it, everything that we do is to feel good. Whether we strive for something, whether we buy something, whether we do some charity or help other people, whether we raise our kids and go to things, etc., with our kids to events and things, the whole thing is about feeling good. So if you can make the whole of your business culture, the whole of your ethos to help people feel good, how long do you think these people are going to stay in your business? Forever, right? Because they feel good being part of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people in network marketing who haven't made that much money, but they stay for years in network marketing because it makes them feel good to be part of it. It makes them feel good to be part of this community, part of this family, part of this team. So that's why you want the recognition. That's why you want to have a system of recognizing people, showing people attention, etc. So what should you recognize people? Well, the list is almost endless. Like, I recognize people as much as I can, like for most anything. But the idea is that you want to recognize people, or you want to encourage the behavior that you want to happen. So if there's a behavior that I want to be happening in my business, I'm going to start recognizing it. Because if I recognize it, if I say, hey, well done for doing that behavior, guess what's going to happen? More of that behavior going to happen. So you encourage the behavior that you want to be happening in your business. So what could you recognize? Well, you could recognize your team members getting customers. Somebody in your team gets a customer, recognize them for that. Well done, Nicola, for getting these amazing customers in the business. So proud of you. Boom, that recognizes that person. Now, the reason why I love recognition, and one of my favorite ways of recognizing somebody, is a post on social media. Because that is like one of the best things to do, because it achieves actually three things. One, and most importantly, it makes my team member feel good. That's my main objective, right? My main objective, to make that person feel good. So I recognize them on a public space in front of other people, because, you know, in business, they always say, recognize or applaud somebody in public and tell somebody off or correct somebody in private, right? Don't mix these two, right? So don't start, you know, telling off your team member in front of other team members, because that makes them feel bad, right? Never do that. Always do that in private. If there's something that they're not doing correctly, etc., always correct them in private, but recognize them in public when other people see that, because it just makes it so much more powerful than just a personal message, right? So I love to do that, first of all, because that makes my team member feel good. But number two, other people see that too. Guess what? Other people also want the recognition. Other people also want to be praised. So when they see me praising this team member for that particular behavior, guess what message it sends to them? If I do this behavior too, then I will get that praise as well. I'll get that recognition too. So that's boom. Second thing that it achieves, it encourages other team members to do the same behavior that this person did for being recognized. And then number three, it actually raises curiosity of people outside of the business. So if I go, oh my gosh, well done to Louise. She's an absolute rock star. She's such an amazing person. I absolutely love working with her. She's an incredible team member. Guess what's going to happen? Her Facebook friends who are not in the business now are going to go, what the hell is she doing? I love the attention she's getting there, but what is it that she's doing, right? So they might comment, they might private message her or whatever, right? So you might think that your friends are not watching you. Trust me, they're watching you. Even if they're not liking, even if they're not commenting. Like, I lost the count of how many times somebody approaches me at the training event or at the conference or whatever and go, oh my gosh, Gediminas, I watch your videos, they're so amazing. And I'm thinking, well, I've never seen you comment on any of my videos. I've never seen you like a single video of mine, right? But they're watching them, you know what I mean? So if you think that nobody is watching your post on social media, you are not right. People are watching you, people are observing you, but they're keeping their comments to themselves. But they're observing you. So when people start seeing that person being recognized, they go, I like that. I don't get that in my job. Let me find out what is she doing. And if I recognize somebody by going, hey, congrats to this person, just made 400 pounds bonus, or congrats to this person, just made 800 pounds bonus, guess what happened? Now they're thinking, I want that money too. What is she doing to get that money? You know what I mean? So that's the third thing. It creates curiosity and actually drives leads to this person. So I'm helping this person to advertise, because you wouldn't go on Facebook and go, well, I'm such a great team leader. I'm such a great person. Why don't you come and see more of me? Right? It just sounds horrible, right? When you're saying those things about yourself. But if I say those things about you, totally cool. Nobody will object over it, and it's absolutely fine, right? So number one, you can recognize people for getting customers. Number two, you can recognize your team members for recruiting, for building a team. So if they've got a new recruit, again, you can congratulate them on that. Or if they've got a certain amount of recruits, like in our team, we have the empire builders, right? People who recruit more than 3 people in a month. We give them recognition, right? Because again, they went out of the way, they're building out, because 1 recruit, you can get them by mistake, or 2, but 3, that means you're actively recruiting. You're actually spending some time on this. And with customers, we recognize people who do certain amount of volume. So we recognize people who do over 1,000 points personally, like some of the people we have on this call. I can see Denise here. She got recognized this month for doing more than 1,000 points, and a few other people, right? So we recognize people for doing that, right? Also, we recognize people for doing a certain amount of volume with their team. So we recognize people who do 5,000 points in volume, 10,000 points in volume, 15,000 points in volume, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, and so on. Because again, that shows that these people are seriously building their business, right? Also recognize people for rank advancement, 3% level, 6% level, 9%, 12%, etc. So every time somebody makes a new position in our business, we recognize them for that. Again, to show appreciation, because for you as a leader, you might think, well, 3%, bloody hell, I order my toilet cleaner every month and that gives me 300 points. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a big deal. But for that brand new person, it's a huge deal. Like, I've seen certificates for 6% being stuck on a person's wall, and that person is already in the Orchid Club. What does that mean? It means that it meant a big deal for that person when they first got that certificate. You know what I mean? So again, that's important. The next is income. If somebody hits a certain amount of income, recognize them for that. Again, give them the praise for that, because again, they worked hard to reach that income. Attend event attendance, right? If somebody attends an event, they go to a training, etc., never miss an opportunity to take some photos, to do a group photo and tag all of the team members and tell how proud you are of those people attending the event. Why do I do these screenshots every time we do our Zooms? Again, this is event attendance. You are attending this event. So guess what? At the end of this call, I'm going to ask you to turn on your cameras, and I'm going to do a screenshot, and I'm going to put that picture on Facebook, and I'm going to give praise to each and every one of you for spending your time on Sunday, attending this training, investing in yourself, investing in your business growth. And hopefully, if I tag you in it or you tag yourself in it, your friends will see it and say, oh, what sort of trainings does she attend on Sundays? How does she grow herself? You know what I mean? All of these things are planting the seed in the people around you who are watching you. Okay. Next is how many people that person brings to the event. So for example, if you have a live event and your team member brings in 5 people with them, 10 people with them, etc., you could recognize people for doing that, for bringing a certain amount of people to a training, right? Taking a step, taking a simple step, again, that you want to encourage. Maybe your team member did a first Facebook Live. Recognize them for that. Maybe your team member did the first party. Recognize them for that. Maybe your team member just paid a credit card of the money they made with FM. Recognize them for that. Maybe they paid off their mortgage or some of their mortgage, right? Maybe they overcome some fear. So you might have a team member in your team who's scared of public speaking, but they step up and they do the public speaking. Recognize them for that, for the fact that they overcome their fear, because that's important. Other people might have the same fears, right? Recognize people who engage in personal development. So if you know that your team member just read a book or just attended a course or just watched a training or just whatever, again, recognize them for that, hey, I'm so proud of this person, going to this training event, investing their time and money to learn and develop themselves. I'm super proud of you. Why are you doing that? Again, giving them a shout out, but also promoting that behavior, because everybody else that in your team thinks, oh, that behavior gets recognized, that behavior gets praised. I also want to take part in that behavior, right? Speaking on a stage, never miss an opportunity. If any of your team members are speaking on a stage or doing a Zoom, take a photo, and recognize them for that, because the chances are that person had to step out of the comfort zone to present in front of other people. You know what I mean? Reaching core rank. our core rank in our business is 21% level. If somebody goes to 21% level, again, you want to go out of your way to recognize that person and to give that person praise, because that's what our business is built on. Core rank, 21%, is like a building block from which we can build any other qualification. So you want as many people as possible going for that core rank within your business and reaching that 21% level. Because if you've got 2 people reach 21% level in your team, boom, you're a pearl. If you've got 3 people reach 21% level in your team, boom, you're an amaranth. If those 3 people get 2 people to reach 21% each, boom, you're a golden, and so on. So you can literally build any qualification within this business, and you can progress infinitely just by helping people within your team to get to that 21% level. Okay, so that's what to recognize for. Now, how can you recognize? So I already shared with you one of my strategies, which is basically a social media post. Now, social media post doesn't cost you anything. So you've got no excuse not to use it. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost you anything to go on Facebook and go, hey, massive well done to Sarah. She's such an incredible team leader. What she done this month, blah, 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 right? Anybody can do that. But there's other ways too. Like if you're doing a live training event, you can actually print out the certificates. So in our company's back office, if you log on to the uk.fmworld.com and you go onto business tools downloads, and then you'll find there's one folder with certificates, recognition certificates. So you can download 3% level certificates, 6%, 9%, 12%, all the way to 21%, and even the Orchid Club. You can print that certificate, write the person's name on it. If you want, you can even laminate it or put it in a frame, etc. And you can give it to the person at an event. Now, again, most of the time, how much is it going to cost you to print it and laminate it? We're talking pennies. But that certificate, that person picking up that certificate, can be such a huge deal you cannot imagine. Now, some people might not appreciate you giving them the certificate and you doing it for them. That's okay. Don't worry about, that, everybody has to put it on their wall and whatever, right? Don't worry about that. Don't get attached to that outcome, but just get attached to the activity of recognizing everybody as much as you can. So if it's a live event, you can do that. Also, something that incurs more cost, but again, once you become a leader and once you start making some money, you can also do that. Something that I like to do occasionally is send somebody out a postcard or send somebody out, a little gift for when they reach something, a certain level or a certain position or a certain income or whatever. Because that, again, just shows that you care. You sitting down and writing the postcard or whatever, again, it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. A postcard can be, pennies, or it can be £1, etc. And the postage, again, it doesn't have to cost a fortune. But if you do that, that just shows that you care about that person. That shows that you spend time thinking about them, sitting down, etc., and doing that little thing for them. You know what I mean? And again, how many times I've seen that, where I do something like that, I send somebody a card or whatever, and they go on their social media and post that up. That, hey, wow, it's amazing to be in this business, being recognized, etc. Again, that just goes to show that one, that person liked it, but two, it's a social media promotion tool, because now that person posted it, their friends are thinking, wow, what for they get the card? What for they got the gift? I want to get some gifts. I want to get cards in my post. What are they doing? So again, it raises people's curiosity and gets people to engage in that. Now, the next thing is how often to recognize people. So now that you decided to recognize people, how often can you recognize them, right? So again, for me personally, my advice, as often as you can. If you would be in our team group, you would see what I mean. It's like every single day, like, hey, congrats to this person for doing that. Hey, congrats for this person to do that. And it's constantly, right? Why? Because our business is growing, because obviously things are happening in our business, but also I don't want to miss a single opportunity to make somebody feel good. I don't want to miss an opportunity to recognize somebody for the behavior they done, right? And as the team grows, it can get, more work and more challenging. But as long as you do the best you can and recognize everybody that you can, in our team, well, a great thing we have, that the leaders, they let us know, because, our team is over 800 people, so it's hard to keep track of every single person. But I get leaders message me, hey, this team and my team just hit this level, right? Or this team just did that, right? And then we go ahead and recognize that person in case, somebody missed it, etc. So everybody plays as a team. And then also a huge part of this is other people congratulating. Because there's one thing you recognizing somebody in the team, but it's a completely different thing when you recognize that person and you did a post, and then after that post, you get like 20 other people saying, hey, well done, hey, congratulations, hey, so proud of you, etc. That is just amazing. And I love that, within our team, everybody's so supportive. Everybody's so encouraging everybody else, etc. Like I put these posts on our team group, I put it in our chat, I put it on our WhatsApp group, I put it on their personal page. And like, for me, the biggest pleasure is seeing all the comments that are happening under. All the goes there, ping, 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 all the team members appreciating and congratulating that, etc. And that just is amazing, right? And again, I recognize people for that too. I go to our team, hey guys, I'm so proud of you for, being such team players, for actually letting people, for congratulating your team members, your colleagues in the business. Because, it's so easy to be jealous, to be pissed off when you don't get recognition. You know what I mean? Like if you haven't hit the new level or you haven't done that turnover, but somebody else did and they get the recognition, it's so easy to go, whatever, right? Right? But when you see people who haven't yet hit the levels, who haven't yet did the turnover, actually congratulate others, that's the sign of growth. That's when the person is showing that, look, my time will come. I'll hit my levels too, and I'll make my incomes too, but I'm here to cheerlead for them, here to make them feel good, right? Okay, so how else could you recognize? Well, you could have a trophy as well. You could literally have a trophy for something, right? So you could have a certain trophy like the top personal points in a month, or a trophy for the best recruiter of the month, right? And that trophy, the person could keep it for a month, and then next month, they either keep it or lose it if somebody beats them to it, So it creates a bit of a competition, etc. We have like a virtual trophy in our team. Last month, somebody did the most personal sales and somebody did the most recruits. We'll see if those people will get to keep the trophy, or not. So it just makes it more competitive and more fun, because some people are also super competitive. Like they don't care about them getting recognition as long as they beat somebody else at it, So again, creating some competition, it's an awesome way in your team, right? Maybe some flowers, especially if it's a guy, right? But one of the best ways to recognize somebody that I've ever heard was at Eric Warren's training, and he told us a story of this person reaching a very significant rank within the business, very high income, etc. And that person's sponsor, their leader, wrote a handwritten letter to that person's parents saying how amazing this person is and how incredibly they have achieved in the business, how, they just really blew their mind and how incredible that person was. Imagine how that made their parents feel, receiving this handwritten letter congratulating their child on achieving so, and how it made that person feel. Their parents calling and saying, oh my gosh, we just received a letter from your leaders, and it just, wow, we are so proud of you. Because the stigma attached to network marketing, some people go, yeah, but when you're going to get a real job, you know what I mean? So when somebody recognizes you like that, and again, there's another saying that says your friends and family will not support you until they see strangers celebrate you. So sometimes your friends and family are the slowest people to recognize you for your achievements, etc. But when they see strangers celebrate you, when they see strangers recognize you, they go, oh my gosh, they're actually doing well. You know what I mean? So they start paying attention to that too. So it's so powerful, doing something like that, to recognize somebody else, right? So you want to be recognizing people for going out of comfort zone, for doing the behaviors, for doing things that scare them. If you know that particular person is scared of going and cold calling on businesses and they still do that, recognize them for that, because they went out of the comfort zone to do that. And somebody else who has a different fear might also decide to do that because they saw that. Also, you can do challenges. So in order for you to recognize people, you can do some challenges for your team members, where if somebody completes the challenge, you recognize them for that. So challenges could be results based, like to get a certain amount of points or to reach a certain level or whatever, or it could be activity based. So if you set a challenge to send out as many messages as you can, and somebody takes a screenshot, and they sent 100 messages, no matter what result was of those messages, you recognize them for the activity they've done. You know what I mean? Or somebody goes and does a product party, and maybe they don't sell that much, but just the fact that they did that activity, you recognize them for that. You know what I mean? So again, think about also becoming unique. How can you stand out from the crowd? How can you do maybe unique things for your team that nobody else is doing, that nobody else has thought of? Instead of just only copying what everybody else is doing, why not think about what else I could do? What unique things I could do to recognize my team, to appreciate them, to love on them? Again, one of my goals, actually, like I have a list of goals that I read every single day, right? To motivate myself, to inspire myself, etc. And one of the pieces in my goal is to build loving relationships with my team and prospects. That's one of my parts of my goals, right? Because I want to build those relationships with people. I don't just want people to feel as a number in my business. I don't just want people to feel as just a ID, somewhere in the back office, just somebody who does the turnover. But I truly want to build those loving relationships where people feel that they, become part of a family. Like when people join our team, I always say, hey, welcome to the family. Because for me, this is a family. This is our family. We all support each other. We all help each other. We all recognize each other. We all do everything we can to help each other to succeed in a business. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, it's such a big deal, So think about what's going to be your system. What's going to be your to-do list in terms of recognition every single month? Could you do a public social media post every time your team member does? And it doesn't matter, even if somebody else is recognizing them, right? You could still recognize them yourself too. You could still send them a private message saying, hey, just wanted to say, well done. You're awesome. You rock. I really appreciate you, right? Could you do some personalized cards, maybe like a postcard? You can get like 5 for £1, but could you do something like that? Could you think of other ways how to recognize the desirable behaviors? So make a list of behaviors you want to be happening in your team. Because I don't know if you realize it or not just yet, but if you don't have a certain behavior happening in your team, you can create that behavior in your team by starting to recognize it. You know what I mean? So for example, maybe there's not a lot of team members in your team supporting each other. But then when somebody does, you go out of the way. You go, oh my gosh, congratulations to this person who supported, another person. Now everybody else sees that. And if you keep repeating that, other people will start doing the behavior you desire for them to do. You know what I mean? You can do challenges like, get free and free. Maybe, get free customers in your first 3 days. Or maybe recruit your first free team members in your first week or whatever. You know what I mean? You could do different challenges as well that just creates opportunity for you to recognize your team members more, right? Maybe you could do a dinner. Like one of my, again, amazing, I love this way of recognizing somebody is when somebody achieves a certain rank or a certain position with your business is for you to take them out on a dinner. Because one, it shows that you appreciate them. So you come to their home, you pick them up in a car, you take them to a nice restaurant. But at the same time, that gives you an opportunity to do loads of photos, loads of videos, maybe go live, maybe interview that person during the dinner, and put them on a spotlight, put them, let them shine and let everybody see how amazing they are. And, the fact, what they qualified for, what they earned, and again, it's a dinner. It doesn't have to cost you hundreds and hundreds of pounds or whatever, but it's the thought that counts. It's the attention that counts, because imagine how it makes that person feel. It makes them feel special. that you drove to their home, picked them up from home, took them to a restaurant, spend an evening with them, and, you can give them tips and advice during that dinner, really pour into them and invest in that person during that dinner, etc. And it just makes it another way of recognizing somebody, you know what I mean? So that's it for today, guys. I hope you got some value from this.